Hello and welcome to Connected TV. I'm the multi-award seeking editor, Paul Skelton. I'm joined here by Rich Green at the Connected Conference, which is part of the Integrate Speaker Series. Rich, welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
I want to talk to you about something that might be a bit different to what most people would talk about, especially at a tech trade show, and that's essentially hardcore drug use. So we've actually spoken over the last couple of days about, I guess, the increased popularisation of microdosing of LSD in Silicon Valley. I'm not going to suggest that you're in there.
You're looking really good to me right now.
I was going to say I'm not going to suggest that you weren't. So what is happening? Why is LSD, I guess, growing or in popularity, or regrowing in popularity, which is now a word? And what role is it playing in, I guess, the young leaders of startups in tech companies?
Yeah, it's a fascinating development. LSD is a largely misunderstood drug. It's a psychoactive, it's a psychedelic drug. It's not addictive. It really cannot harm you unless you take megadoses, which you're not supposed to do. And what it does is it opens up your mind. It's for consciousness expansion. And it allows you to see through the illusions of the industrial military complex, if you will, the governments that we have to oblige. And that's kind of scary to governments, but it's really empowering to young people who have this common experience of an LSD. So what has been learned recently by an interesting gentleman. He's about 80 years old now. His name is Jim Fadiman. I've met him a few times. He lives right around Palo Alto, and he was the guy. He was like the Johnny Appleseed of LSD back in the early days, where he was turning on some of the most innovative people in the history of technology. So the people who invented the PC, who created artificial intelligence, who were the first pioneers in virtual reality, they were dropping acid, and they were having glorious experiences, mind expansion experiences. So skip ahead 50 years, and what's happening, thanks to Jim, who's writing books on the positive benefits of microdosing LSD. Not so much that you're hallucinating, you're not seeing pink elephants flying around the room, but it's like a really, really good, strong cup of coffee without the edge. And it makes you clear-headed, it gives you a sense of creativity and a courage to move forward in a creative pursuit, even if it's an engineering pursuit. So what I learned, and just shocked the heck out of me, is that the young entrepreneurs, the startup CEOs around Silicon Valley, they're microdosing. And Jim did a little poll, a web poll. He says, anyone out there actually microdosing on a regular basis? He got 65,000 responses in the first day. It's like, oh, wow, this is a real phenomenon. So there's a burst of creativity and courage coming from young entrepreneurs who are microdosing LSD right now. So I believe it's glorious, it's beautiful how the desire to expand one's consciousness and to do better things for the world has come around full circle to a new generation who now has a better understanding of the smaller dosages, more controlled use of the drug to get maximum benefit. So how about that? LSD, it's creating the new world of technology. Back 50 years ago, when the PC was being invented at Xerox PARC, the Palo Alto Research Center, and before that at Doug Engelbart's lab, the Human Augmentation Lab at SRI, Stanford Research Institute, these guys, they were dropping acid, and they were seeing the future of, what Stuart Brand would say, information wants to be free. So their vision for humanity was to democratize technology, to put a computer into the hands of the populace so that they can network together, converse together, figure out how to make a better society for themselves. And so a lot of the drive behind the early entrepreneurs, the Steve Jobses, the Steve Wozniaks, these people, Bushnell, who founded Atari, right? That these guys, they were dropping acid, and they had visions for a better future for humanity by democratizing the technology that was under a lockdown control by big companies like IBM. So I think it's a good thing. I'm glad to see it come back.
So LSD is obviously very synonymous with the counterculture, movement, especially in the late 60s. I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of Hunter S. Thompson, so he was big in that movement, and so was Timothy Leary. Would you suggest that we're currently in the midst of another countercultural movement?
I think we are. I don't know if it's attributable to LSD. I just think that young people are pissed off. You know, that enough is enough. When you look at the fact that people are leaving Facebook, they're deleting their Facebook accounts. Facebook is being punished in the marketplace. They went too far. They were invading our privacy. And I think that people are saying, no, you're not going to do that to me anymore. And so there's a blowback happening. And it's the same kind of energy, as you're pointing out, it's the same kind of energy that spawned the counterculture during the 60s and the 70s. It's like, no, we're not going to take this anymore. 4 dead in Ohio, and the Kent State massacre and so on. There were some things happening in the 60s where the kids said, no, we're not going to take this anymore. And I think we're seeing a blowback right now. So the social technologies like Facebook, like Google, like Twitter are nervous as hell right now because they're standing on a economic foundation that is not really sustainable in the minds of young people. It's like, you're not going to do this to us anymore. So what happens next? I think it's subscription. It's the subscription economy. That's what's going to pull us out of this hole. And so the venture capitalists around Palo Alto right now, they're looking really hard at the subscription economy around these young entrepreneurs doing startups where they're actually going to charge money for good products. Oh, what a surprise.
Excellent. Well, no, thank you so much for your time for that, and I guess that's a message to all of the younger members of the industry. I guess if you want to make it in technology, start dropping acid and
stay connected.
And stay connected.